What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your man Chazz Ellis once again. I'm happy you guys are all on. Ladies, gentlemen, make sure you hit the like button immediately. That's for the YouTube algorithm so they can try to show brothers some love. They may or may not. They may not like what I'm saying. But hit that like button anyway. Show that love to the channel. Also, if you want to ask questions later on as we go on, make sure you go ahead and hit that Snapchat button so that you can ask questions. Also, make sure you give me some stickers, things of that nature to support the chat. That helps me keep going. That helps me keep doing this, keep giving you the information and the love from my honest perspective, which is no bashing, no hating, no pandering. I'm going to give it to you raw dog, no chaser, the real stuff. This is a question that people ask me a lot about YouTube. This is something I even just got in the chat earlier, like, why are you not more popping on YouTube? The thing about YouTube is YouTube has a lot of things with algorithms where basically YouTube looks for what's the kind of the Donald Trump effect. This is whether you like Donald Trump, hate Donald Trump. What's happening with you? I see some of y'all getting on here already. Whether you love Donald Trump, hate Donald Trump, whatever you feel about it. But certain information is going to be polarizing. It's going to make people mad. It's going to make people happy. So what you'll notice on most channels, especially if they give relationship advice in any way, shape, or form, you can start doing it already, Steph, if you want to. Yeah. If they give relationship advice in any way, shape, or form, it's usually going to be slanted or mostly one-sided. The reason why you get that is because the share factor. So you wonder why a lot of dudes or a lot of women or a lot of people on YouTube will bash somebody, or they'll just seem to be really one-sided. The reason for that is, say I put out a video talking about relationships, and when I put that video out, all I do is talk negatively on women. Well, when I just sit there and bash women over and over again, then men will share that video, and men will share it with their woman and say, see, this is what I've been talking about. They'll share it with their friends. Women will see the video, get pissed off about it, and then they will share it with other people and say, see, look how these people are, look how these guys are. Same thing, if I make a video and I bash men and I pander to women, then you'll send those videos out to your male friends and say, see, he telling y'all how y'all should act. Guys will see the video and go, look at this simp. You know what I mean? And then it becomes a snowball effect. It's not whether people like you or not that makes you popular. It's whether or not you can piss people off enough to keep sharing your content. So that's just to give you kind of a backstory on how YouTube works, social media works for some of y'all who haven't really been in the game. Make sure y'all hit this like button. Hit these like buttons over and over again. For some of y'all that want to get questions, hit that Snapchat feature and go ahead and get a question like that. And I'll be trying to answer all of them by the time I get to the end of the live stream. Or I guess it'll be somewhere in the middle, really. So make sure you go ahead and hit that. That's going to put you up the list. Hey, if I don't get to you and you didn't, support the chat, don't get mad. You got free content. I ain't trying to hear all that. You know what I mean? You got free content. Ain't nothing to be mad about. So what I'm going to talk about tonight, for some of y'all still getting on, what I'm going to talk about tonight is the wall. Ladies hitting the wall. People have been talking about this for a long period of time. It's supposed to be basically around 29 and up. 30 years old or so, you start hitting what they call the wall. Some people say it's even younger. Some people say it's 24, 25 even. Now, what is the wall? The wall is metaphorical, obviously, and it's supposed to be this time in a woman's life where her physical appearance and fertility or perceived fertility have lowered so much due to age that she is no longer able to get the same quality man or even close to the same quality man as she once was able to get in her youth. This is basically what the wall is. So basically the wall is like the cougar in the club trying to pounce on a bunch of young men who are laughing at her. That's what that's supposed to be. That's what that's supposed to represent. All right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and be fake with a lot of y'all and just front on you 100% and be like, there is no wall. There's no such thing as a wall. That's fake. That's just a bunch of propaganda. Because that may make you feel better and that may make you like me more. But ultimately, it's not helping you because it's fictitious. For me to sit here and say that when you get 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, you're not going to have a harder time just getting somebody with the same methods as you did when you were 19, 20 years old. I mean, that's just asinine. And I'm not going to do something like that. I know it may make you feel better. I see you. I got you. I'm going to get you, Steph. I know that may make you feel better, but that's a short-term feeling. Ultimately, you're not going to get anything out of that. So when I talk about the wall, like I just told you guys before, is basically when what they call your sexual marketplace value, it just kind of drops. It's like a dropping period. And then as you go further and further along, it tends to drop more and more. Now, why is this though? Why does this happen more often to women than it does to men? It's not that there's no wall for men. I know a lot of people try to say that. There's no wall for men, but there actually is. Men have just learned to climb over the wall in a lot of cases or step around it. Whereas most women have never been taught, have never learned, have never figured out how to advance their game as they age. So as a man, if I'm sitting over here saying, there's no way the 40-year-old version of me, remember that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin? That was a cold movie. But the 40-year-old version of me cannot compete with the 20-year-old version of me physically. What's happening with you? It can't. It's not possible. It just can't. I couldn't do it. There's no way that you can say, look, here's when I was 20 years old. I'm going to be able to use the same game, the same tactics to be able to have the same success. Unfortunately, most women, as you guys get older, you're using the same tactics that you were using when you were 19, 20, 21, 22 years old in order to have success with men. This is why a lot of y'all start falling off. Some of y'all are still running into this even in your current relationships. Some of y'all married somebody when you were in high school or just getting out of high school, and now you're 30, 32 years old, and you're wondering why that relationship is falling apart. Well, in a lot of cases, it's because you can hit the wall in relationships. You're in a situation in a lot of cases where if you take two people, right, that get together when they're 19 years old, man and a woman. Nowadays, what people do is a woman and a man will come up with the same basic strategies for living their life. You'll focus on your career. He'll focus on his career. You'll get promotions. He'll get promotions. Now that you guys have been together 12, 13 years, you're doing well financially. You're doing well in your career. He is also. But the relationship has deteriorated, and a lot of times y'all have grown apart. What happens then? A lot of times he walks away from the relationship, and what he has acquired throughout his age has made it to where he's actually more desirable than he was when you met him. When you met him, maybe he didn't have a lot of options. Now he's far more desirable because he's got things he didn't have when you met him. Money, prestige, different types of opportunities, and he's willing to use those in order to get women. Well, with a lot of women, you want to be like men so bad, and you want to do everything men are doing, but then you don't want to use those resources to get a man, because ultimately that's not what you really want out of a situation. You don't want to use your resources to get a man. You just wanted to acquire those resources to say, hey, I'm as good as a man, which is great. But unfortunately, this is where the wall comes into play. You get what I'm saying? Now you have a bunch of resources that you've acquired that are doing you absolutely no good in the dating market for who you want to get. The skills that you've acquired do you no good in the dating market to get who you want to get. So you might have gone up the corporate ladder, you're big boss at whatever corporation you're at, or you're doing pretty darn good at whatever corporation you were at. But unfortunately, over the years, you didn't really develop skills to help you on a dating market. Because now all you can do is lead with the money you have, but you don't want a broke dude. You don't want a dude that's going to need that money. That's where the wall comes into play. Everyone physically deteriorates as they get older. If you don't believe that, you're just delusional. I'm sorry. Your body's going to physically deteriorate. Your knees going to start hurting. Like, I want you, if you're like 35 and above, I want you to go to the club tomorrow and dance all night long. Dance like you did when you were in college. I want you to try that. And I want you to tell me what happens to your body when you wake up in the morning. Dead ass. Tell me what happens when you wake up in the morning. You will, because you have physically deteriorated from when you were 20 years old. This is normal. This is things that are happening internally. Even if you're staying in shape, these are things that are happening with your joints. These are things that are happening to your body. We all get older. So for a lot of women, the reason they're hitting this wall and the reason they're finding themselves so unable to secure relationships as they get older, guess what? It's because they're not acquiring skills that will help them do that. Let's answer a question real quick and then we'll get back to this. This is Steph. Does it affect how a guy sees you if the sex wasn't... Man, these things be moving on me while I'm trying to read it. Okay. This is from Steph. Does it affect how a guy sees you if the sex wasn't my best first time? Would he still want it again, as I know I could do better? That doesn't really hurt you. That's more likely to hurt you if you're a dude, to be real with you. But a lot of times it's all in what you do. So sex is something you're going to get multiple tries at if you build the relationship and if you build a chemistry outside of the bedroom. You're going to get multiple tries at it. And a lot of people are really willing to work with you, especially a lot of guys are really willing to work with you. If everything else is cool. So if the vibe was cool, y'all are funny, having a good time, laughing together, enjoying each other's company, you got multiple opportunities to work on it. You got multiple opportunities to work on your chemistry in the bedroom. A lot of people give up on that because they're like, oh man, I didn't do a good job the first time, so it's a wrap. But the reality is, it doesn't really work like that. You can actually just build a good enough rapport with somebody to where it's all good. All right, let's get back to this wall. All right, what a lot of you ladies have to understand is it's not necessarily just about your age. As you get older, opportunities shrink. When you were in high school, unless you went to like some really super, super small high school, you had hundreds, maybe even thousands of opportunities to talk to somebody. You go to class every single day. You should have went to class every single day. Some of y'all may not have. I don't know. But you go to class every single day. And, most of the time, class is about 50-50 or close to. It's 10 girls, 10 boys, maybe 12 and 8. You get what I'm saying, though. It's close. So you have opportunities over and over and over again. You got assemblies. You got football, basketball games. You got traveling opportunities with football and basketball games. These are the things that you have when you're young. This is natural. Obviously, there are going to be some outliers where you might be like, there wasn't nobody at my school. Well, you must have been homeschooled or something. I don't know. But for most people, there were humans at your high school. And there were other high schools that surrounded the area that you lived in, unless you lived on some kind of a desert island or something like that. If that was not the case, then you had other people that you could talk to. You had friends, you had opportunities to talk to plenty of guys. Now, as you get older, those opportunities dwindle, they diminish. Now you have other factors that come in, like people being married, people being engaged, people having children, people living with somebody. This is what you have. You have a lot of these people who are taken, which didn't usually happen in high school. Obviously, there's some people who got married in high school, but for the most part, everybody was single. College was kind of the same way. Now you're in a situation as you get older and older where you just don't have the same opportunities that you once did. It's not 30, 40, 50, 60 people a day or a week that you get to come in contact with and have an opportunity to talk to. This is one of the things that caused the wall to hit so hard. Because now what you end up relying on is social media. Now what you end up relying on is hope and shaming tactics. Every date you go on, for a lot of y'all, is like, man, if this don't get me married, I don't know what I'm gonna do. If this don't get me the marriage that I'm looking for, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might end up alone. You know, I gotta go ahead and get a cat or something like that. I don't know what I'm gonna do. You weren't feeling like that back when you were in high school. You weren't feeling like that back when you were in college, because you felt like you had a lot of time left. You had options. You had people to talk to. You had multiple dates you could go on a weekly, bi-weekly, or at least monthly basis. Yo, if you in the chat, if you just got up in here, make sure y'all hit that make sure y'all hit the like button. Also, make sure you use the Snapchat feature. Let's get these likes up for me to keep going. Let's get these likes up. Let's make the likes hit match the number of people who are in here. If you in here getting free game, you could at least click the like button. You feel me knocking? Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Start hitting that like button. Hey, what's up, Philly Loves Chazz? Seeing you again. No problem, no problem. Hit that like button, y'all, for some of y'all who haven't. Also, make sure y'all start supporting the chat if y'all want this to keep going. Support the chat. Show some love, man. I'm about to be in here giving y'all even more game. Okay, here's something I want to address. Yeah, I don't know if y'all were watching this thing where basically Carrie Hilson put up a post, and the post was to the effect of, here's all the things that a guy needs to provide for, and he will get a submissive woman. I want to tell some of you ladies this, and this is part of this hitting the wall thing. If you want to be submissive, if that's who you are as a person, cool. Get into a relationship, be submissive. If that's what you want to do, no problem. If that's not who you are, thanks, Vanessa. If that's not who you are, then don't pretend like there's some type of dude that's gonna bring something out of you. Some of y'all probably think there is. But if you've never been that before in any of your relationships, that's not who you are. So what you need to do is you need to find somebody and connect with somebody, figure out what type of guy likes you the way you are. And that's not maybe he's a good man or a bad man. That just means that he's compatible with you. Some of y'all want to get with a dude and you're like, man, if I find this perfect man and then all of a sudden I'm going to change up and be a totally different person. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. Just like you wouldn't be able to get with a guy and change him up and turn him into a totally different person. Yeah, you might tweak some of the basic stuff around you. You know, you might cook a little bit more if you get with a guy you like a little bit more. You might do your hair a little bit more, something like that. But you're not going to change your entire basic thought process. Jessica, feel you knocking, yeah. So you're not going to change your total thought process because you're with a certain type of person. That's not going to happen. That's not how it goes, man. That's not how life really works. And I thought, and this is something that I hear a lot from women, where it's like, if I find the perfect man, then I'm going to start exhibiting all of these things that men say that they want. I'm going to use this example for y'all. Have y'all ever went to the fast food restaurant and went through the drive-thru and you ran into somebody who was really rude? Like you would pull up to the drive-thru, you want to get something to eat. You're like, yeah, you know, probably not at Chick-fil-A, but I'm saying another place. You went there, you saw where somebody was really rude to you, like, what do you want? What do you want to eat? No, we don't have that. We're all out of ketchup. How the hell are you out of ketchup? But anyway, you came in there, you ran into this person, and you thought to yourself, this person's going to be working fast food for the rest of their life. The reason why you thought that is because they don't exhibit the behaviors of a person who has a better job. And 9 times out of 10, that person is going to be working fast food or menial jobs for the rest of their life. Because it doesn't work that way. You don't go get a job as an executive, then start acting like an executive. You have to start acting like somebody who gets an executive job. You have to say, this is a good job that I want to get, and this is the behavior that I'm going to have to exhibit to get that type of job. You don't sit there and go, well, if they tell me that they want me to wear suits, they're not a real job. If they tell me that I got to come in and be polite to people, this isn't a real job. And this is kind of what we get in dating and relationships. What we often get is a person will try to judge whether somebody is good or bad on whether or not they want someone like them. So if you don't bring certain things to the table that a lot of guys like, for a lot of you ladies, you're going to just be like, well, if he doesn't like the way that I am, then he's not a real man or he's not a good man. No. If you want to decide whether something is good or bad, then you have to create a baseline for that exists regardless of whether or not they would choose you. See, a surgeon is a good job regardless of whether or not they will hire you. So you can't say, well, they wouldn't hire me as a surgeon. That must not be a good job. No, clearly being a surgeon is a good job. They wouldn't hire you because you don't meet their requirements. That doesn't change whether or not it's a good job. So when you're dealing with men, you got to feel the same way. I'm going to set a baseline for what I say a good man is. And it has nothing to do with whether or not they like me, nothing to do with how they feel about me and what I bring to the table. These are criteria. Then if guys that have that criteria don't like you, you got to start making some changes. What's up, Vanessa? Hey, Chazz, I gave someone who broke my trust in a horrible way many chances, and every time it gets worse. Should I get it? Should I let it go and never look back? If you've given somebody plenty of chances and they keep breaking your trust, which generally means they're cheating on you, stealing from you, or something of that nature, then I think it's time to let it go. But I think you also got to look at it a little deeper than that and say, obviously you're not just giving them those chances just to be a nice person. Keep it a buck. There's a reason why you have allowed this person to get away with this stuff over and over again. Because deep down, you're not dumb. You knew they were going to do that over and over again. But there's a reason why. A lot of times what we do is we try to pretend like we don't know certain things because we want this person so bad that we'll give them an opportunity. Or even if it's a family member or something like that, we want that relationship so bad that we will ignore all signs that tell us this ain't the move, this ain't the one to be around. I want you to take that into account in this situation for future situations. So I gave this person chance after chance. Why? Is it because I didn't feel like I had parallel options? Is it that I didn't feel like I could get this same thing again? What was the reason? What was the reason? No. What was the reason why I did that? I think doing that is going to make your situation a lot better. Just going forward. Ask yourself that. But as far as should you let this go, if you gave a person chance after chance, they're probably not going to change. What's up? Still I rise. I rise. What is it? I am the hope. I used to know that whole poem, man. I don't want to butcher it. Shout out to Maya Angelou. Let's see. I'm over the wall at 33. What can women 30 plus do to stand out, be more desirable? Well, I'm glad you asked. That was the whole point of this podcast, or whatever you want to call it. Look, the wall and all that situation, it's just there. It's a metaphorical thing that's there. As far as how that affects you, it's only going to affect you when you're still using the same methods that you were using when you were 19, 20 years old. So if you're 19, 20 years old and all you're relying on is your looks to stand out, all you're relying on is the fact that you have multiple opportunities to talk to people on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, then if you're still trying to do that at 33, then obviously the wall is going to affect you more because your game hasn't improved and the way that you operate hasn't improved. Now, if you say, look, I'm not going to just try to use my looks to stand out. Obviously, I'm going to try to look as good as I possibly can, but I'm also going to use game and resources that I've acquired to stand out. Here's the difference. Go back and look at your 19-year-old self. Did your 19-year-old self know how to make a guy feel comfortable on a date? Like really feel comfortable and kind of feel like, hey, I've known you all my life. Did your 19-year-old self know how to have those conversations with somebody that could really build rapport quickly? Probably not. Maybe you were just really advanced, but for most people, probably not. Did your 19-year-old self know how to get in circles with people where you can weed out a lot of the bad dudes that you probably didn't want to be around and get around some of the really good ones, top level ones? Probably not. So this is how you start sticking out, is by doing things that only you would know because of you've grown and you've aged. So has your conversation aged since you've gotten older? Or are you still talking about the same stuff that you were talking about at 19? And not only has it aged, has it become conversation that you can actually have with a man? Like if you go out here trying to talk to a man you want to be with that's got all the things you're probably looking for, and the conversation is about teacups and, what happened on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Well, you got to ask yourself, well, what is it? Jersey Shore, the Housewives of Orange County. It's nothing wrong with watching any of that. But if that's the baseline for your conversation at 33 years old, why would they just go ahead and date somebody who was 19? What do they need you for? If you enter into a relationship with somebody, you still getting jealous, you still getting mad over Instagram and showing out over this and over that, How do you stick out when you're acting the same way somebody would that was 19, 20 years old? If your dating strategy is the same at 30, 40 years old as it was at 19, 20, why do you expect to get the same results when now you have to compete with people who are 19 and 20 at 30, 34, 35 years old doing the same thing? Let's take this out of dating and look at it from a different angle. I like to use sports a lot because sports is a meritocracy that has obvious answers. Obvious answers. So you won the game, you lost the game. You made the shot, you missed the shot. Period. There ain't nothing else to it. This was your time. So, could an older player, somebody who's 35, 36 years old, could they play as well using the same exact methods as somebody who is 21, 22, 23 years old? Absolutely not. You're not going to play the game by just jumping around and running real fast the whole time, because you don't have the ability to do that at the same rate as somebody who's 19, 20 years old. You can't do that game after game because you're going to have to ice down your knees. You're going to be taking shots, cortisone and Toradol and all kind of stuff just to keep up. You're going to have to change your game. You got to learn different tricks and moves that will help you keep up with people who are much younger than you. This is what you have to do as you age. And 33 is not super old or anything like that, but you want to get ahead of it more and more and to develop and get your game tighter. If you still try to 90-day rule your way into a serious relationship at 33 years old, you're getting scooped by people who are 20. If you're still trying to go use the sex as a weapon thing in your 30s, it ain't working because they can just excuse me because they can just get somebody young. Why would they take that from you when they could just get somebody who's younger than you, who's doing the same thing and kicking the same type of game? So what I want to see a lot of y'all doing is developing. This is what I work with ladies on all the time, but especially like for your own specific situation. But I work with them on developing your game. You can't sit here and say, this is what I was doing when I was 19, I'm going to keep doing this. I go to the club, get dressed up, get guys to give me attention, and then I end up with somebody. That ain't going to work at 33 years old. Because now when you're 33, you go out in the club, you probably don't see any of your friends, people that you know. So what you got to do instead, you got to join clubs, groups. You got to go to business conferences. You have to do things of that nature. And then you have to learn business. You have to learn what you're talking about. So that's just kind of what it is. You know, just bigging up your game and improving it over and over again. Let's see what else we got. All right, Lisa. If you want to get ahead, like while I'm answering a question, go ahead and ask your question using the Snapchat feature just so you can kind of get ahead. Otherwise, somebody else will just come in right behind you. Right behind whatever question. As soon as they hear me stop talking, they're going to boom, jump right in there. Okay, Chazz, I'm 27, very pretty, in shape. I attract wealthy men, but I have a list of things I really want in a man. I haven't found the guy that meets all my requirements. Should I lower my standards? Well, let's not call it lowering your standards. Let's not call it lowering your standards. Because to lower your standards means that you have found and can get A, but you're accepting B. That's lowering your standards. The things that you're looking for, I don't know exactly what all the stuff is, but if you're saying you're attracting people, you haven't found those things yet. If you're going to you can't get with a wealthy person who has a lot and then feel like you're lowering your standards. You're not going to get with somebody who's desirable, because if you're pretty and in shape and you're willing to date them, that means somebody else who's pretty and in shape is also willing to date them. So if you're gonna go into this situation, you can't look at it like you can't go into it and look at it from the perspective of, yo, I'm lowering my standards. You have to look at it from the perspective of, this is what's available to me and this is what I see. If you're not finding somebody who has these things that you wanted in your head, you got to keep it real with yourself and understand you don't have everything that people wanted in their head. Of course, you feel like you do because it's you evaluating you, but you're evaluating somebody else. You get what I'm saying? And you're holding them up to your evaluation. For those people who are looking for the Snapchat feature, it is the cash symbol icon that is at the bottom of the screen. I know some of y'all may be missing it, but it's the cash symbol icon at the bottom of the screen. Click that in there, and it'll give you an opportunity to type in your question. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, it's not necessarily settling; it's just taking what's available and what you see. Because what you're looking for, if you haven't found it in anyone, then it may not really necessarily exist, or it may be in such a short supply that you're not going to find it. But I wouldn't look at it as settling. I would look at it as, hey, I haven't been able to find this, and maybe I was kind of being unrealistic from the beginning. If you haven't found it in anybody and you've dated quite a few people and you're looking for this whole list of things, a lot of times the things that we look for can be an idea, a guideline, but we have to adjust our guideline based on reality. Like, you could sit here and go, it's plenty of guys that's like, yo, I want somebody, and then they got Beyonce pretty much. Like, they want somebody that's famous, they want somebody with money. You know what I mean? They might want Beyonce, but they know that's not going to happen. But they're not going to say, hey, I'm settling for my girl, or I'm settling for my wife. They're going to be like, well, what I was thinking was unrealistic. That's the reality of it. What I was thinking was unrealistic. So it's not going to be settling. It's going to be just accepting the fact that, hey, maybe what I wanted isn't really out there in mass. All right, let's see what else we got. V Lee, what's up? Appreciate you. Do you think there's a difference in quality options between paid and non-paid dating apps? I think I'm over dating apps. Not completely. Obviously, paid dating apps are going to weed out people who don't have money to be on paid dating apps. So if you're looking for a certain level of finance, which, let's keep it real, and there's nothing wrong with that, V. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's looking for a certain level of finance. Ain't nobody trying to be with somebody broke if they don't have to be, right? So if you're looking for a certain level of finance, then the paid dating apps might make it a little bit more likely for you to find that. Obviously, you're going to make a financial investment in those apps. So that can be a thing. If you're not finding what you want on apps, it's generally not because none of what you want is on there. It's because of what you're doing on the apps and how you're presenting yourself and how your app is and how your profile is put together. I've talked to plenty of women. I do profile reviews. I work with profiles all the time. For some of y'all, if y'all wanted to get those, go to ChazzEllis.com and get a profile review. I'll review your social media. I do dating apps and all that. But 9 times out of 10, if you're not finding the type of person that you're looking for, it's what you're doing on the app. I'm just being real with you. It's the way you're presenting yourself on the app. It's the way that you put yourself together on the app. Your about me section. Most people, when they tell me, oh, I can't find any good guys on the app, I'll go through their app. I'll actually work with their profile. And when I do, all of a sudden, a bunch of good guys appear on the app. So either it's magic or it was something wrong with their profile. Okay, let's see, Miss PG. Which is more important? Looks, attractiveness, personality, attitude, makeup, shoes. I'm just confused. How to attract a nice, quality, decent. Okay. Okay, you want somebody that's equally yoked with you. Oh, okay. This is the thing that we got to look at. All of those things are important, and they're important more so depending on your personal situation. So a lot of people want to try to look for things and triage a little bit. What's more important? Well, they're all important. Your looks are going to be just as important as your attitude, because that's your baseline. How's a person going to know what your attitude is like if they were never attracted to you enough to get to know you as a human being? The clothes, shoes, makeup, all that stuff, that does contribute to your looks. As much as guys say they don't like makeup and they don't like all this, now I understand it's excessive and blah, 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 but how you put yourself together is going to affect what you look like. So those things are important. They're equally important. Your attitude is going to be extremely important once you get past the initial phase of them getting to know you. When a person gets to where they actually start talking to you, having conversations with you, which is going to be based on what you look like. Let's be real. If they get to that point, then you have to be in a situation where you're actually capable of having a good conversation with somebody, building up rapport with somebody, and just showing them that you bring some of the things to the table that they're looking for. But if you don't have the other things, then that's probably not going to happen. If you want somebody, when you say equally yoked, that's going to be a situation where it depends on what you mean by that when you say equal. Because you might look at two things side by side and say these things are the exact same. We make the same amount of money. We drive the same car. We're both go to the same church, whatever. These are things you might have. But you might not necessarily be looking at it like that may put that person above where you are. To you, that's equal. But in the grand scheme of things, it might be a little rough because it may not be equal to everybody, if that makes sense. Like, so you might be like, yo, I make $75,000 a year. He makes $75,000 a year. We're equal. But let's keep it real. A lot of women will say, I make $75,000 a year. You make $75,000 a year. I'm really above you because I don't want a man that makes the same as me. So you may make $75,000 a year. He may make $70,000 a year. You may be, you may not dress as nice, or you may not have your makeup right, or your looks may not be exactly where they need to be right now because of whatever's going on. And he might feel like, you know what? Even though I'm kind of in the same boat as you, I'm above you because I was looking for looks. I at least got decent money, and I'm looking for looks, and your looks wasn't on point. So that's what you got to think about. Like, what is it that I actually want from a relationship, and what is it that those people want? So that's something to look at when you say equally yoked. What's up, Precious NC? What should you have on your dating profile? Tips. Like I said, I do profile reviews. So if you want some real specific information, you gonna have to go there because I don't know you like that to be able to necessarily give you like a whole breakdown of your profile, obviously. But here's some of the things that you should have and some of the things you shouldn't have. Just a real quick one. I'm gonna get this to y'all for free because I like to give out game. Number one. Okay, we'll just do it like this. Things you should have on your dating profile. Number one, a good clear picture that shows off at least from your mid chest up. All right? It has to be a good clear picture with only you in it. Not your dog, not your homeboy, not your sister, your cousin, or grandma, or whoever. No. A good, clear picture, and it should be your best foot forward. Don't have a picture where, oh, I just woke up out of bed, this is funny. No, that ain't it. Okay? A good, clear picture where you look nice in it. You put effort in. Don't just take the picture and put that crap up without talking to somebody or letting other people look at it. Get help for that. Okay, but anyway, so you need a good, clear picture. You need to take time on your profile as far as your About Me section. So in your About Me section, you should talk about what you bring to the table, not what you want. If people don't want you, they don't give a damn what you want. So you only have so many words that people are going to actually read. So if you spend the first 2 paragraphs talking about what you don't want and what you do want, and I want a family, this, I don't want nobody playing no games. No one gives 2 craps. You need to talk about what you bring to the table, what you can actually do that would matter to the guy you want. So if you make $127,000 a year and you want a dude that makes $275,000 a year, then don't bring up your $100,000 or something. Bring up how you can actually improve the life of somebody who has money in their pocket. And it don't just got to be cooking and cleaning and sex either. Bring up how, hey, I like to have conversations about the stock market. I like to have conversations about what's going on in real estate. These are things I care about. This is stuff you can show that you have a freaking brain based on what you've accomplished over your lifetime. That's going to make a person like you more. That's something to put on your dating profile. I didn't cover this, I don't think. Your name. Don't make your name some stupid shit. All right? Big Booty 27, Love to Shake It 59. Don't put none of that crap on there as your name. You're trying to put your best foot forward. All right? If you want to attract somebody that wants you to twerk for them or something like that, then, don't get mad when that's all people asking you, though. But if you actually want to get with somebody that's valuable, that's going to treat you like you're valuable, then you don't want to have those stupid names on there. So let me see. Take the time when you're actually talking about, when you write down, like, usually when you check a lot of different boxes and stuff like that, take the time to think about your answers and what they mean to people. Don't just put anything down. Just put some stupid stuff down or some stuff that you feel makes you look cool or whatever. Try to make sure you're putting stuff down that somebody else would actually like. What's up, Amaja Alex? I appreciate you. Or Amaja Lex. I'm sorry. Look, I'm going to mess up your names sometimes, but I got a lot of love for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So don't think it's not that. All right. Philly loves Chazz Ellis. This is one of my favorite names on here, obviously. All right, let me see. Appreciate you, and let's get this question. My boyfriend commented on my gray hair, and it hurt my feelings. How can I get to a point in my state of mind to not even get offended when he points out a quality that indicates that I'm not as attractive? Look, don't take that. Don't even look down on yourself for that. I want y'all to. This is a good ass question. This is a life question that you just hit. This is something that people don't understand about life. We spend our entire lives getting used to things that make us insecure. Then we get older and acquire even more things that make us insecure. So learning how to deal with that is going to be difficult, and it's going to be an uphill climb with many of learning curves. So a lot of times when you feel like you're getting older, or somebody points out, yo, you got gray hair. You see how you said things that make you seem less attractive. If you're looking at the gray hair and you like, dang, I got gray hair, I'm getting old, that's making me feel less attractive. Well, first of all, they have dye. But also like look into the deeper meaning of that for yourself. And so instead of feeling like, okay, this might be making me feel less attractive, or I may be getting less attractive, start feeling what you're building up as you're getting older. Okay, look, we're going to get older. Our looks are going to decline some. It's just no way out. There's no way out of that. But what else are you building up as you're getting older? It's like, you know what? I'm a little older, but here's how I know how to connect with my man in a way I didn't know how to 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm a little older, but I got a lot of recipes in my recipe books that I didn't have. Yeah, I'm a little older, but I can have conversations with people that I couldn't have. So yes, maybe physically my attractiveness might go down a little bit as the years go on, but my mental attractiveness goes up because I'm becoming a better, stronger version of myself. I'm becoming capable of providing greater love than I was ever capable of providing when I was younger. Now, some people ain't doing that. You still doing the same stuff in the bedroom that you did when you first met the dude. You're still trying to have the same conversations with him, even though maybe his conversation has evolved. Now you just don't talk. You get what I'm saying? These are things that you want to work on and say, if me and this person broke up tomorrow, because this is usually where a lot of the insecurities come in. If me and this person broke up tomorrow, could I even get anybody else? Well, if you're building yourself up in every other aspect, like, hey man, I know how to put my makeup on better at 30 than I did 20. Hey, I know how to dress better at 30 than I did 20. Hey, I know how to cook better at 30 than I did 20. Hey, I'm better at holding a good, strong conversation at 30 than I was 20. Well, that's going to tell you that, hey, if you get out in the open market again, you might be in better shape at 30 than you were at 20 because maybe you wasn't in that good a shape at 20. So there are things you can do to make yourself feel better by just improving on yourself. A lot of times as we get older, we just go to work every day and say, forget all that other self-improvement. And then that's when you start feeling old and when you feel like, you know, like you playing yourself. Steph, Jack, thank you. Appreciate you for donating. Hey, he keep pushing those stickers, pushing those Snapchat features. Get on in here. Don't let one group of people do all the heavy lifting. Everybody that's on try to kick in a little bit of something. You know what I'm saying? Be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. You feel me? But yeah, that's the thing I want to go into a little bit about this wall thing too, because see, as we go forward in our lives, we're all going to have to get used to new things. We're going to get used to physical issues. We're going to get used to loss of resources. For me, for some of y'all to know, my father just recently passed last year, but you know, obviously that's recently because I was around him my whole life. So now this is the first time I've not had him. And it was rough. There was a loss of a person that I really cared about and relied on, just mentally, even, you know, even since childhood. And just losing somebody that you care about is rough. And we get older and we get older, and things change and things change. As we've adjusted to one old thing, now we have a new thing we have to adjust to. And because of that, on a human level, we have to keep improving ourselves so that we have something good to feel, or something to feel good about also, as we keep acquiring new things to feel bad about. You may get a little older and you may not be able to move as quick as you used to. You may acquire some gray hair, lose some hair, get some wrinkles, things of this nature. But it's like, what are you improving upon? Do you work on your fitness a little better? Do you eat better? Do you study more? Have you learned more? Have you acquired more knowledge as you've gotten older? This is something to do. You feel me? This is something to do. This is something to build on, to make you a better person so you feel more comfortable in what you have. What's up, Precious NC? Back at it again. That's what's up. What are some examples of what women can bring to the table? Things that women can bring to the table. I'm not going to use cooking and sex. I guess I did kind of just in saying that, but I'm not going to use that because those are obvious ones that people talk about all the time. Things that you can bring to the table, especially as you get older, but even if you're not older, something that you can just start working on even as a younger person. Things to bring to the table. Understanding what people that you are interested in want to talk about. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. I want you to think about how you've made friends throughout your life. In most cases, you've made friends by having something in common with them. By having something that you could actually freaking talk about. And that's why you're friends. It's usually not really that deep to begin with. If you want to have something to bring to the table, start figuring out what the people that you want to be with, the people that you like, want to talk about. If you want somebody who's financially stable, but you can't have a conversation about finance, how the hell does that work? If you want a person who is God-fearing and religious, but you ain't read the Bible, the Quran, you ain't read nothing in the last 20 years, how does that work? Where does the conversation come from? Where does the conversation come from? Tish experienced at story time with Chazz. Okay, if we get up to 100, I'll do a story time. All right, if we get up to 100, I'll do a story time. So yeah, that's one thing to bring to the table. Just knowing what to talk about with a guy that you're actually interested in. Somebody or the type of person you feel like you want to be with. Something else to bring to the table is just a sense of style that you have where you can be somebody's best foot forward. It doesn't even have to be the physical appearance necessarily, like, oh, I'm the baddest thing ever, but just understanding how to present yourself in different environments. And when I say style, even, I'm not even just talking about the clothes you wear and all of that. I'm talking about the way you carry yourself in certain environments. How will you act when you come to somebody's mom's house? How do you code switch? Steph Jack, I couldn't see your question yet. I'll go back through and look for it. How do you code switch? Like when you come to somebody's house, do you, like, maybe you might cuss with your man, but when you go to somebody's mom's house, do you still be on here cussing and all that? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying style, how you would dress, how you would present yourself in a corporate environment with the person's friends or with their mom and daddy. If you can do those types of things, that's going to make you far more valuable. It's going to make you stick out from other people that they've dealt with. Yeah, Steph, your question didn't come through. Just go ahead and type it. You can type it anywhere. Just type it in the box, and I'll go through and I'll catch it here in a minute. Tish, what's up? Did you just get on here? Well, you got on here like a few minutes ago, didn't you? Let me see who I know that's constantly supporting. I'm gonna give y'all some shout outs. Laya, what's up? I've been seeing you. Some of y'all are new. Philly loves Chazz. You've been on here quite a bit. Amaja Lex, been seeing you. Precious NC, I've been seeing you. A lot of you I haven't seen a whole lot, or you might be new. But keep coming on. I'm going to see you more and more. Some of y'all might have saw one time. You know, but if I see you on the regular, I'm gonna give you some shout outs. V, what up? I done already gave you a shout out because you've been asking questions, but what's up, V Lee? Okay. I thought I really connected with a man to find out he was trying to get a green card from a relationship. Damn. Advice on moving on and dating in the future. I asked many questions early, but he lied a lot. Yeah, I mean, you know, people will do that, trying to get a green card. I'm not sitting there saying because somebody's foreign that they will lie and all that kind of stuff, because anybody will lie. Racism is a handicap. I don't want anybody to think I'm telling you to think because somebody from somewhere else that they about to do this or they about to do that. No. But I'm saying when somebody has something to gain, they will often lie. The way to get back out there is to understand, okay, this happened, but to still date in good faith. What often happens is we have bad moments in time, and what we'll do is we'll have these bad moments in time, and then we'll let them define us for the rest of our lives. If you want to get back out into the dating world, you asked questions, and that's why you were able to figure out certain things. Now, maybe some stuff you had to figure out the hard way. Ask more questions. Get to know people more. Take your time. But don't ever let something bad that happened change your heart and change you from enjoying yourself and change you from being someone who believes in other people. Otherwise, they won. I remember back when some of y'all are maybe too young to remember when the whole 9/11 thing happened, and people got mad at George Bush because he was like, yo, y'all go out, go shopping, enjoy yourself, or these people who did this win. It may sound crazy, but George was 100% right about that. In the theory of the situation, whatever you feel happened in that situation, but George was 100% right about that. If you let somebody change you and turn you from the person you used to be when you first met them to somebody totally different, then they've ruined you for the next person, which means they won because they're gonna still keep being them. I'm sure if he was using you for a green card, he'll probably be using somebody else for a green card. If that was the case and that's what happened, you know what I mean? You probably keep doing the same thing. So don't let that change or destroy who you are as a person. When you go out there in your next dating experience, assume that they like you until they prove otherwise. You know, life is a risk, and we got to keep doing it over and over and over again. You know, if you get fired from one job, people never tell you, you better not get a job again, you might get fired. No, they tell you take your ass back to work. Relationships are the same way. You're going to get burned, you're going to get dogged out, you're going to get hurt, but that doesn't mean that you stop or let it change how you approach feeling like people actually like you. What else we got? If we get 15 more, I'm gonna do a story time. I'm gonna do a story time about when I used to be a police officer. This is what I'm gonna do. I think I was gonna do it on something and I never did. So I'm gonna do this story. This is a funny ass story. For some of y'all that know, I've had 1 million jobs over my lifetime. Quite a bit. Y'all hit the like button while I'm doing this, while I'm talking about this. For some of y'all that may or may not know, I've had 1 million jobs over my lifetime. They've been great learning experiences and things that I've been able to bring throughout my lifetime. So, I'm happy for that, actually. Oh, man, I'm supposed to talk about this, too. Look, I try to get these things that y'all ask me in my DMs and stuff. Y'all could DM me on I am Chazz Ellis on, what's that? On Instagram, my bad. Y'all could DM me on I am Chazz Ellis on Instagram and ask me certain questions. I'll try to put them on the chats. I also try to hit some of y'all questions that y'all asked toward the end. Let me do this real quick. I was talking to somebody and they were asking me about promiscuous women and why there's a double standard for promiscuous women. Um, well, some of y'all probably already can guess this, and some of y'all, may not know. Well, the reason why guys don't generally like promiscuous women, obviously there's the biological aspect of it, whereas a woman always knows in 99% of cases that her baby is hers. A guy may not be able to know that unless he trusts the woman. Obviously, we're going to say, well, yeah, we got DNA tests now. But, that's not that's new in history. And most people are going to get pissed off if somebody asks them for a DNA test. So that's one of the reasons. Also, the reason is, let's keep it real, ladies. What do you expect to get out of a sexual experience? Most of y'all are not going to the club and saying, any dude that looks halfway decent that I meet here can smash without doing anything for me. You generally expect something more than just a sexual experience for your time and for your body. Well, since men don't, in most cases, that's why there's a double standard. People don't want to pay for something that somebody else got for free. And as far as men are concerned, like for you, if I hit y'all up and I was like, yo, y'all ain't getting this eggplant unless y'all go on 3 dates with me and pay for all of them and spend money on me. If I said that to you, most of y'all be like, man, F you. Most of y'all be like, F you. You wouldn't go for it, right? But let's be real. This is what women do all the time. They expect a lot of things for their body. Well, I ain't calling it prostitution, but I'm just saying, like, you expect things for your body in most cases. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. I'm not saying you. But there are a whole lot of women do. So that creates a double standard. When you say here, this is of the greatest value, well, once you say that, you can't come back and say, oh, I can just give my body to whoever I want to. I thought you said it was of the greatest value. Men are consistent about their body not having great value. Because, it's not like a dude can get an average girl to buy some penis. If you don't do that, the dude generally got to be somebody that's just, like, he got to be looking like, some famous model or something like that. A regular chick, look, when I used to work as a police officer, we do prostitution stings, and some of these girls that guys were paying are people you would think nobody would have sex with for free. Okay, Steph, 2 quick questions. Does a man only truly know if he likes you once he has sex with you? And if that happens, and if it happens too soon, does it hurt your chances? Okay, those are 2 good chances. Those are 2 good questions. Steph asked, does a man only truly know if he likes you after he has sex with you? And if you have sex too soon, does it hurt your chances? I'll answer those in reverse. If you have sex too soon, it only hurts your chances if it changes how you respond and react to the relationship. What I mean is this. If you have some timeline in your head of what's supposed to happen before you have sex, but you have sex before any of those things happen, then you try to rush it, then yeah, it's going to hurt your chances. So some people have sex on the first date, and then they're trying to make a relationship on the second date. Like, you ain't trying to be in a relationship with me. You need to know what you want. It's like, we only been on 2 dates. Just because I hit doesn't mean that I know you to say, let's be in a serious monogamous relationship. Okay, you let me hit on the first date. That doesn't mean that speeds up my timeline just because you sped up yours. So that's your first question. Or second question. The first question, does a man know whether or not he really likes you until after he has sex with you? I'm going to tell y'all 100% true. He doesn't know. He may think he knows. It sounds cool. But when you have something like that that's valuable to you that you want to get, you're going to believe a whole lot of stuff. It's like some women chase that ring so hard that when they finally get married to that man, they find out that they never liked him in the first place. They like the idea. They like the concept. They wanted that beautiful day in that white wedding dress. They wanted all their friends to be there. They wanted the music to be playing. They wanted to be like Coming to America, where he was like, she's your queen to be. They wanted all of that. And they did, and now once they got it, they're like, yeah, I don't really like dude like that. I don't really like him like that. Now that I got everything I wanted. This is why people marry people that they hate. It's the same thing with dudes. You ever notice that a guy be all nice and all that kind of stuff before he sleeps with you, and then it seems like he just totally changes? A lot of times that's because the chemistry was never really there. He just really, really didn't know that until he smashed, and that was off the table. Once that gets off the table, then a lot of the other things can build, and you can get to really know the person. Now, I understand that may seem backwards, but that's just the reality of it. A lot of things that he's going to be doing are going to be based on the fact that he thinks he likes you because he wants that particular thing. It's like, I want to be able to be intimate with you. So the things, the annoying stuff that you do that I'm ignoring is going to seem more annoying after I've been smashed a few times. Hey, I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but that's real. What's up, Amy Sue? You just got on, didn't you? I just saw you. If we don't use dating websites, what should we put on social media profiles? Social media profiles for the most part are actually like dating websites anyway, so it doesn't really matter. If you don't use the dating set websites, social media profiles are basically going to be the same thing, but you're not going to be able to use words in a lot of cases. So what does that mean? You can control your social media to say what you want it to say. If you just got a new job, you can put that up there. If you be at the gym, you can put that up there. If you rescue animals from shelters, you know what I'm saying? Are you over here volunteering to help poor and needy children? I don't know, some old other shit. Whatever you got going on, you can put that out there. And you don't have to put up bad pictures of yourself on social media. You really don't. You don't have to do that. So that's something to just look at. Putting your best foot forward on social media. Putting up things that you want people to know about you. If you got friends that are cool that will mention the stuff for you and tag you in it, that's even better. Make it a group effort. But these are things that you can do even if you're not on dating apps. You can put your best foot forward. You can talk about what you bring to the table and show. It's even better on some of these social media things. You can show what you bring to the table. And you can also make sure you have good pictures, great profile pictures. We putting up no bull crap. And once again, with social media too, I'm going to say this. I got to get firm on y'all on some of this because I do these profile reviews for some of y'all. And this got to stop. Quit putting up these goofy ass names. Like, this little sex kitten 33 type of stuff. Don't put that crap on there. That's not your social media handle. Use your name or use a name that is respectable, okay? Also, the energy that you put up on social media is the energy that you're going to get back. So if you put up a bunch of angry I hate men posts on social media, don't be surprised when you get a bunch of fuck boys who want to pretend to be different from every other guy. Because that's what you do when you want to smash. You pretend to be different than everybody else. And then they see that you're exactly like everybody else. Let's keep it a buck. All right, so that's what you gotta make sure you're not doing some of this stuff. Let me go into this if you let a guy smash too quick thing. Look, most of the problem with you ladies that when you let dudes hit fast or anything like that, it's not really with the way the guy views you as much as it is how you view yourself and how you start acting once you do that. Some of y'all go on this emotional roller coaster where you start feeling bad about what you did. You start feeling like, oh no, I ruined everything. Now you calling the dude talking about, you gonna be my Valentine? When we gonna fall in love? Because you feel like you have a bad story now. Now you take a guy you may have barely even liked and you over here chasing him around, being all angry and all that kind of stuff. Don't do it. You feel what I'm saying? Don't do it. If you let a dude smash, you got to accept the fact that that's a choice you made. You probably had a good time. So take a deep breath. Go out there and act like this stuff never happened. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time with the person. If you do that and you act like, hey, I'm still on my same timeline, I'm doing me. If you do that, then it'll work out. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised. The person won't look at you as being pathetic. And they won't. And then a lot of times they won't change how they feel about you. All right, what else we got? Yo, y'all got to keep supporting the chat, man. For those of you who are not, keep supporting the chat, bro. For those of you who haven't, support. For those of you who've been supporting, much love. Appreciate you. But keep supporting the chat so we'll keep it going. We $10 away from story time. $10 away from story time. Somebody can kick in there. I'm going to tell y'all about when I was a police officer. Hopefully this story will help your life. Let's hit that like button too. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. I want as many likes as we got people in here. It takes nothing for you to push the button. You can just like, boop, push the button. How long should you talk online before meeting? Precious, that's a good ass question, man. You asking questions on behalf of the group because I know people got that question. How long should you talk online before meeting? Now, for safety reasons, you want to try to make sure you know as much about the person as you possibly can before you actually meet somebody. Because there's some crazy people out here in the world. I don't like to go down that dark path because most people actually aren't crazy. Most people are normal. Otherwise, we wouldn't have daily interactions. But there are some crazies. So you want to make sure you get to know the person too, and at least know that they are who they say they are. But after that, I always say you want to meet really right away because you don't know if you have in-person chemistry with somebody until you meet that person. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times you're talking to somebody and they seem cool online, but when you meet them, you realize that, y'all just not really compatible. You're not really feeling them and all that kind of stuff. So online is an opportunity to meet somebody. But at some point, you got to start really building a relationship in person. And a lot of times when you don't do that quickly, there's a disconnect. So there could be a physical disconnect because for some people, have you ever had a friend that y'all was cool as hell? I mean, y'all was thicker than thieves. Y'all was like two crossed fingers. Then one of y'all moved away and the friendship just deteriorated even though y'all talked on the phone. That's a physical check-in in a lot of cases. It's just little things that you do when you're actually with somebody physically that you can't do online or you can't do through video chat or phone or anything like that. So that's what you want to kind of do is give yourself an opportunity to have a physical check-in and get to know the person in the physical realm. So I would say definitely make sure you get to know somebody before you meet them, but then make sure that you actually do spend time with that person. Because if you don't, then it kind of be a situation where you don't really know them. Now, as far as danger is concerned, you can't be thinking scared because scared money don't make money. And scared people sit around trying to convince everybody else to be scared. You can't think like that. All right? But do take precautions and do protect yourself. But don't be sitting around thinking scared, oh man, if I meet somebody online, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. People meet online every day and you see very few stories. Hell, when you walk across the street, you can certainly get hit by a truck, but most people don't. Yeah, you're saying how long, like a week. I get what you're saying. It's not a number thing, but I would say if you can get within a week, then yeah, try to get within a week, 2 weeks, something like that. If you want to try to get it down to a number, but it's like, make sure I'm going to give you some, I don't like to use dates as much as benchmarks. Make sure you know that person's real name. Make sure you know what city and state they actually stay in. If you can't pinpoint an exact address, get about as close as you possibly can. Their age, make sure you video chat it and you know exactly what this person looks and sounds like. Once you cross those things, because you can look up everything else about the person once you know their name and age and all that kind of stuff. Once you cross those things, then, try to meet somewhere public, try to meet somewhere where you feel safe and comfortable and, take your necessary precautions. But yeah, week, 2 weeks, it could be 2 or 3 days if you can get all that done in that time. All right, if we get $5, we are on story time. We are on story time. I want to go into some of this safety in the world stuff too. Because I hear a lot about this when we talk about dating and stuff like that. A lot of people, y'all watch a lot of the news. This is not the most dangerous time that we've ever lived in. I want y'all to recognize that. This is not the most dangerous time that we ever lived in. If you grew up in the 90s while the crack era was still going on, you were actually in way more danger. People were way more likely to kill you and get away with it. I just want to put that out there. Okay, got a few questions coming up. Let's see. Krista Joe. Hey, what's up? I've seen you on here before. Okay, so you're welcome for me coming on the live. I like to do it. I appreciate y'all coming on. How do you personally find a compatible person to date? Well, it depends on what you like, because compatible is going to be different for each person, obviously. That's why you said personally, you already knew that. So what you want to do is you want to look at your particular hobbies, things of interest to you. Whatever that may be, it don't matter what it is. If you like bike riding, if you like horseback riding, if you like eating Jell-O, whatever it is you like to do, you want to find people who also like some of those things. So this is where you join clubs. This is where you join groups. Then you also want to figure out what type of person you actually want. If you already know what type of person you want, you figure out what they do. I'm just going to use this as an example because it is what most people are looking for. Not everybody, but most people. Like a lot of people like entrepreneurs. They like business people. They like people who are financially stable. They like people who are physically fit. This is what a lot of people want. So if this is what you want, then you want to do things that are entrepreneurial. You don't have to necessarily own a business, but you go to business conferences. You go to things where people talk about business. Also, if you want someone fit, get a gym membership. Go play, go to the little basketball league and sign up. These are things that you could do. I'm about to hit y'all with that story time. These are things that you could do. So that's kind of how you find somebody who you are compatible with, by figuring out your interest and going to places where people who have your interests go, join groups on social media, things of that nature also. And then whatever it is you're looking for in a guy, you want to try to, even if you don't match that, understand it. So if you're looking for a man that's an entrepreneur, go to business conferences, go watch a lot of videos about business online, stuff like that, so you can hold those conversations and meet those types of people. All right, story time. So I'm gonna go back, way back into time. This is when I was a police officer and I was on my, I want to say, man, I had only been out in patrol for like 2 or 3 months. And it was cold outside. So I get a call. And basically, we pick up these guys. Now, what these guys were doing was burglarizing a house. And what these guys decided to do was they went up in somebody's house. This is this older guy. The dude whose house they went up in, he was like, I want to say he about 70 or 80. And the dude was on like dialysis. And he would go to, he probably like 70 years old. He's on dialysis. And he had somebody who would take him to go get dialysis done. And for people who don't know about dialysis, it actually, now don't get me wrong, I don't know if this treatment has been updated or anything like that. I could be wrong about that. At this time, dialysis was like an all-day process. So these guys had scoped out this dude's crib, this older man's crib. And they came up with an ingenious plan to wait until the dude went to dialysis, because I guess his son was taking him to like dialysis. So they waited till he was going to his thing. Then what they did was they said, okay, we have scoped out to figure out all the stuff that's in this house that this dude got. And we know that he has a huge safe in the house. So what they did was they parked a truck, like a moving truck, out front. And the dude, when the moving truck was doing like a lookout. And they had it all planned out. They said, okay, we're going to go around the back so people don't see us the whole time while we going in the house and all that kind of stuff. And then we just going to come up with the stuff like we're moving. You know, like we moving this stuff for this person because we got this truck. All right. So they're doing this and everything. And the guy has a huge safe upstairs, which is basically what they were trying to get. They want to take the safe to a different location so that they could crack it open. This is, for people who don't know anything about criminals, burglars, and stuff like that, a lot of their dream is like a lick like this. But so this is what they do, right? They go upstairs through the back. They go to his room where he has all kind of memorabilia. He got like old baseball cards. He's got comic books. He's got antique vases and cups and stuff like that. He's got a lot of stuff. So they go and they start collecting all of this stuff, including the safe. So they put everything on top of the safe because their thought process is, if we go a bunch of trips in and out the front, then people are more likely to see us. They might call the police, or they might be able to recognize our faces or something like that. Because, you know, it's going to be hard to wear masks and stuff like that if you're carrying stuff out. You know, this is before all of this was happening, obviously. So the guys go in, they put everything on top of the safe, and they carry him down the stairs. And they carry the safe and everything down the stairs. The safe is super freaking heavy. It's like 150 pounds or more. They're carrying this safe, open up the door, they step out on the porch, and boom, they go through the porch. Apparently the porch is freaking rotten. One of the guy goes straight down with the safe in his hand and breaks his leg. Like 2 or 3 places. That leg is done. The other guy is hanging. He's hanging like this on the porch because there's a fall. Right? And he's caught. Basically, he's caught like on all the debris and stuff that's to come down through the porch. So he's like this, where he basically can't get up and he can't really go down. The guy in the truck takes off. He's out. He sees what happens. He's gone. Somebody sees all this commotion or whatever. It's a nice neighborhood. They call one time. These guys roll up. The other officers roll up. I came after the situation. So we're questioning these dudes because one guy, he had to go to the hospital. The ambulance had to come get this brother. He's all messed up. The other guy, we're questioning the dude. And I just asked because I was like, man, y'all knew what every dude had. He was like, yeah. I was like, y'all playing this job out? Yeah. You know, I was like, I'm just wondering why y'all didn't test the porch to see if it could hold y'all weight. Because these guys weren't small. They was probably like 200, 210, 215 apiece. You know what I mean? They wasn't small guys. So I was like, I just asked. I was just like, why didn't you try to test to see if the porch could hold your weight and the safe? I mean, you know, if y'all did all this research and everything. And he was like, what? He was like, oh, yeah, we never got on the porch. We never been on the porch before. I was like, and I realized that the way that they came up with the whole plan was mostly in theory. You see what I'm saying? It was like mostly a theory, a plan made of theory. They had never really tested out hardly any of it. They didn't know that the dude would just take off instead of helping them. They didn't have, it was so many variables that they couldn't have, that they really didn't test out. And they just had this whole plan drawn up in their heads. This is what most people will do. They never actually test out anything. Is people will give you information, people will tell you stuff, and they never test out a damn thing. People will say stuff, people will believe stuff, but they will never test out a damn thing. You know, as you're coming up with your master plans, as you're coming up with whatever it is you think you're going to do and want to do, that's great. But test it out along the way. You know, and don't rob houses or try to pick up heavy ass safes. 2 morals. All right, let's get some of these questions. Okay, Precious, I got you again. What does it mean when he love bombs you? He's ready to settle and invest in you early on. It's nice but scary because I don't know if this is temporary. So basically she's saying, what do you do when somebody tells you that they want to settle down, that they really care about you and all that stuff early on? Is it temporary or not? I believe in this. When somebody tells me something, if they haven't given me reason to believe otherwise and their actions line up with what they're saying, then I'm not going to not believe it. But I'm also, those are words. So I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe you, but at the same time, those are words. What you do going forward and what I do going forward dictate what the relationship is. Maybe he met you, he was like, yo, this is the type of girl that I really would want to be with. She's somebody I'm physically attracted to. She seemed cool as hell. And maybe he was like, yo, I just want to give her my intentions up front. Because a lot of women say that's what they want, right? So maybe that is the case. Maybe that's what he was trying to do. Now, do his actions line up with that? Is he doing things that will lead you to believe that? Is he saying, yo, I want to be with you. I want to take it seriously. I want to settle down. And then next thing you know, you see him with Brenda, Letitia, Dawn, LaShawn. I mean, is he calling on a regular basis? Is he texting on a regular basis? Are you guys going out? Are you guys doing things? Are you getting to know about each other's dreams and hopes? I mean, what's happening? Because that's really going to dictate whether or not what he's saying is real or fake. That's another good ass question right there. Let's keep the likes up for all the new people on here. If you're new, also make sure you use the Snapchat feature so you can ask a question. Make sure you support the chat. That's what keeps me going, keeps me doing these types of things. So you got an opportunity to get this free game. You can at least click like if you want here getting this free game. But you also so you can ask some more of your specific questions too, and I can get to them before the live is over. Okay, let's see. Is it LA Peaches? I like that. That's dope. Or is it La Peaches? Whichever one, you feel me? How to respond to questions guys ask about your glam, makeup, hair extensions, etc. Okay. Well, people are going to ask, some people are going to ask personal questions like, why you wearing this or why you wearing that or whatever. Look, everybody ain't for everybody. So if a person is asking a question, maybe they're asking it because they're curious. Maybe they're asking it because they just want to know. But I always say, whatever you feel, like if you're like, yo, I like wearing this because I feel like it looks good and this is what I want to rock, then that's a good ass answer. If you wearing it like, yo, I'm trying to get into showbiz, I don't know, whatever it is you have going on, don't be afraid to answer questions like that in an honest manner. You'll be surprised. Like some people tell a lie when the truth would have worked. When someone asks you a question, it doesn't always mean that it's a negative. Sometimes even if it may come off that way to you, they're like, well, why you got all that makeup on? Or why you got these hair extensions? And why you got this? Or why you got that? You may take it and be like, take it personally. But sometimes people really just want to know. And sometimes people are hating. That's why I give an honest answer to myself. I'm like, hey, this is why I did what I did. Because I thought it looked fly. You know, that's why. You know, however you want to take that is what it is. You know, you don't got to get defensive or nothing, but you can just be like, hey, I thought it looked fly. You know, I still think it looked fly. And then leave it at that. If you like what you're wearing and you want to do what you got to do, you know, do your thing. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, I'm sorry. I got you. Not why, but real or fake. If somebody asks you if something is fake or real, that's a good ass question. I'm going to say it like this because I think if somebody can figure it out in the future, because I'm not going to give you no fake ass after school special. Honesty is the best policy. I ain't going to give you that bullshit. That's bullshit. But when somebody can figure it out, lying a lot of times, just not really the move. A lot of times people don't even care. They probably assume it's weave or whatever anyway. So if say you have weave or hair extensions or whatever, say you have that, somebody asks, yo, is that hair extensions or whatever? You be like, yeah, I have a little help, whatever. If somebody like, yo, those are your real eyelashes, no. Just leave it at that. It ain't that big of a deal because really is what it looks like. If people like it and they think it's attractive, then that's what's up. If somebody's asking it and they would really be mad at the answer, they probably wasn't feeling you anyway. So don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. You know, if somebody's asking you and they just wanted to know just because it's an idle question, then cool. Be like, yes, this is extensions. I ain't tripping off of it. A lot of times people will only pick up on your insecurities and that'll kind of make it to where it becomes an issue. But if you feel secure about what you're doing and what you did and the choices that you made, you know, most of the time that's going to work its way onto the other person also. And they're not going to be tripping. All right, let's hit this super chat feature a little bit more. Get in here on your boy. All right. I see some of the new people came on. They start showing love right away. For some of y'all that's been on for a minute, show some love. You know what I mean? You feel me knocking? Well, let me in, damn it. What else did I have on here that people... I want to talk to you about getting somebody who is compatible for you. Uh, get somebody who is compatible for you and your lifestyle. Stop sitting there talking about, I want a godly church going man, and you out here stripping and selling drugs at the same time. That's not going to work for you, most likely. I'm not sitting here saying you can't get somebody like that, but y'all probably don't have anything in common. Stop trying to say all this alpha male type of person that you want to get when you know good and well you're not somebody who's going to be submissive and want to be a part of somebody else's plan. You work in your own plan. Then you need to get somebody who is a follower, not a leader. If you want a man to follow your plan, you need to get a follower. This is the problem, this is the disconnect for a lot of ladies. A lot of y'all will get somebody. Y'all be like, well, I'm going to be this, and I'm an independent, strong woman, and I'm going to lead myself, and I'm going to be the leader in my household. But then you want to get somebody else who want to be the leader in their household too. So y'all can fight all the time. No, you need to get somebody who cool with you leading the household. You need to get somebody who is willing to follow. And that person is not going to always have the financial success, and because that's stuff that leaders generally get. They're not going to always have that. That's why a lot of y'all struggle as y'all get older, especially because you want certain things that don't go together. If you want a certain type of person, you got to be with somebody who lines up with your ideas. All right, we got a few more minutes for people who want to ask questions. Hit that Snapchat feature. Let me sit here and I'm going to go through and try to hit some of these questions that people have asked in the comment box too. If I get to you, I get to you. If I didn't, you could have used the Snapchat feature. So don't be sitting there salty in your little feelings. I'm tired of this shit. I'm going to try to hit people that I know be on here on a regular. What's up, Bia? I see you a lot. I noticed a change in attention around 26. The younger women were getting most of the attention in person and on social media. This is something that's happening. Obviously, if you got to be real with yourself. The older you get, in most cases, you're going to get less attention. Now, obviously, you could be an outlier and you may still be getting a ridiculous amount of attention, but you may even be getting more attention than you were getting before. But the only way you're going to be able to maintain that attention and maintain or get what you want or extract what you want from those situations is to make certain improvements that belie your age or that are congruent with your age even. You got to do that. So you can't be 26 years old still kicking 19-year-old game. If you're 26 years old and you're getting on social media and you bending over and sticking your ass out, well, there's a bunch of 19-year-olds doing the same thing, so it's not going to work. If you're 30 years old and you're on social media, I'm not saying you can't have your ass out on social media if that's what you want to do. But I'm saying if that's all you're doing, you're giving out 19-year-old energy and you wondering why you're not getting the same opportunities, or if you're just sitting there not doing anything, you're like, well, I used to be girl next door and just be able to chill and men would just fall all over me. But that's probably not going to happen when you're 30, 40 years old. Let's be real. So that's something to just kind of think about, like, hey, how am I improving on my game? How am I improving on how I present myself online as I get older? Because if you're not doing that, then the attention is going to wane year after year after year after year. Let's keep the likes going. So you were, as Krista, you were asking building together. Hey, if you want to build with somebody in a relationship, that's great. I think building is beautiful. But when you build with somebody, you also got to make sure that you're building the things that they're going to care about going forward. What a lot of people will do is get into relationships and they'll be like, yo, I was with you when you was down and all that. It's like, yeah, but he improved himself in the areas that actually would matter to women going forward. Did you improve yourself in the areas that would matter to men? What some people would do is they'll get somebody broke and struggling on the front end, and they'll be like, well, since I was there while you was broke and then I did this little helping whatever that I did, then I shouldn't have to do anything else. Well, why is somebody gonna go to work every day, work their ass off to be with a five that's doing the same stuff she was doing when they first got together? You might have been there with him, but it wasn't like he didn't have to work. You work to get better stuff. So if you don't upgrade yourself, they're gonna upgrade the person that they get with, and it's not gonna be you. This is why people get left behind. Most people get left behind because they don't take the time that they're in a relationship to build on themselves, to get better. How to get a man to open up. If you want to get a man to open up to you, first of all, you have to be open. What I mean by that is, if you ask somebody a question and you don't like the answer, and then you get pissed off, they're not gonna open up to you anymore. You can't be like, how many kids you want? I want 3. You want 3 kids? You expect me to push 3 kids out of me? Then you expect them to open up about their childhood or something like that to you? Come on now, that's not gonna happen. One of the biggest ways to get somebody to open up to you is to be open to the opening and to be respectful of that person's feelings. What's up, Tish? Define a confident, healthy, submissive wife. I think that's going to be defined a little bit differently for different people, but I'm going to hit you with a couple baselines I think most people would have. Confidence, in most cases, I'm gonna kind of go with some of the ways that you wouldn't see it, obviously. Confidence in most cases is really going to be insecurity in yourself and your relationship. So to be a confident wife, you need to be confident in your relationship and confident in your place in the world. So that means you're not going around being jealous. That means you're not going around going through phones. That means you're not going around, because if that's the case, why'd you get married to this person? What's the point? You're not going around being jealous of anybody who likes the person or likes one of their pictures or something like that. That's part of the confidence thing. You're confident that they like you, that the man that you're with actually loves you and wants to be with you. You're confident that his friends are cool with you being there. You're confident until you have other reason to believe otherwise. You are confident that everything is going fine. That's the confident part. Healthy. You want to be physically healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, and financially healthy. This means you take care of yourself physically. This means that you take care of yourself emotionally, whether that means going to therapy, whether that means talking to a spiritual healer or whatever it is you do, handling your past trauma, whatever it is you do. Physically healthy, you want to go to the gym. Financially healthy, studying, researching, understanding what you need to do with your money. If you're not even the person working, understanding what you need to do to help that situation. You know, because some people want to try to be the manager of the money when the other person is working, making the money, but they still spending money on what they want. You got to be able to manage. You got to be able to help the situation by not overspending. And as far as submissive just basically means being on board with the other person's plan. If you're not on board with the plan, then you should just leave the situation anyway. If you want to be submissive doesn't mean, hey, everything that happens, I got to go ahead and bow down and I got to be like, whatever food you like. I don't have to do that. But what submissive does mean is you're on board with the overall plan. If you did not like the overall plan when you got into the relationship, then you probably should have got out, and you probably should get out now. But if you do like the plan and you're on board with the plan, then act in accordance and do whatever you can to make the plan work. Whatever y'all got planned, whether it's building a business, having 27 kids. I don't know. Hey, I'm not here to judge. That's a good one. Good one, Tish. What else we got? For ladies, I wanna go back to this makeup question again because I think that that's something that really goes on now, where people talk about makeup and things of that nature. Why y'all wearing all this makeup? Why y'all doing? Look, with the choices you make in terms of your look, you have to be real with yourself about. If you want to wear a certain look because you like it, you think it looks cool, you got to understand that other people also have a right not to like it. Period. But if you like it, that's what you want to wear, that's what you want to put on, then go ahead and do your thing and be proud of it. If you don't want to talk about your extensions, you don't want to talk about your eye makeup or whatever it is you might have on, that's cool too. But at the end of the day, whatever choice you decide to make in terms of what you wear, be real with yourself, figure out what you're actually trying to accomplish. Am I trying to impress other women? Am I trying to get men to be attracted to me? Am I just wearing it because this is what I want to wear? Is this some type of a goal for me? Or am I doing makeup tutorials? Whatever it is you're trying to do. And then ask yourself if what you're doing is achieving that goal. If it is, then what other people think really doesn't matter. Who cares what they think? Fuck them people. What size is fat to a guy? That's a good ass question. Man, that's gonna always be relative. Okay, here's why it's relative. I want to look at this. It's like I had a guy who I was talking to about this, and he was like, "What? How tall is short to a girl?" I was like, "Bruh, the reality is you're gonna have a group of women who are gonna put their preferences out there, and they're gonna say, whatever preference I have, that's what height, that's what tall is, short is, whatever the case may be." But there are millions of other women who didn't put their preferences out there. So basically, it's all going to depend on where they are. So a girl that weighs 200 pounds may be fat to a guy who only weighs 120 pounds and only dates women who weigh 120 or less. But 200 pounds may not be big at all to somebody who weighs 210, 250, and they might be just as physically fit, but just bigger, and maybe have more muscle tissue. So for that reason, I say, you can't really. It's not a particular thing for each guy. Everybody is different. I know people are gonna try to tell you, "Oh, well, if you weigh this much, nobody wants you." I get that, but the reality is that's not true. There's gonna be different for different people. People are always trying to make some type of baseline because they're the person who's talking. A person who's got the voice, a person who gets an opportunity to talk, is always gonna tell you, this is what's fat, this is what's skinny, this is what looks good, this is what doesn't look good, this is what guys like. They're speaking for themselves and speaking for the sample size of guys they know. Because you can't really tell somebody's weight all the time by looking at them anyway. You might be 200 pounds and it mostly be up here and in the back. You could be 220 and be like that, whatever the case. So it's hard to really say what's big because everybody's different. And what everybody likes is different. All right, I got time for one more. Let's see if somebody does the super chat feature, and if not, then I'll go get one from the gallery. But it's gonna be one question. I'll give it a second. Okay, this is a good question. I'm in love with an amazing man, but he's black. My father is racist. I feel torn because I respect my parent who worked hard for my college and upbringing. Hey, it's people in the world be racist, bro. I'm not even here to judge that man for being a racist, but I will say this, because I don't know what time he came up in and what he been through. You got a right to feel how you feel, but you also have a right to feel how you feel. And this is a phenomenon that I've seen over the last 20 years. I've seen the hardest, most hardcore racist people in the grocery store with mixed grandkids in the cart, kissing them all on the face, hugging on them, talking about if anybody ever say anything about my grandbaby, I'll kill one of them. I've seen this black and white. I've seen people who hate people of a different race. They had them grandbabies. Next thing you know, they over here with the dad taking pictures, with the mom, whatever, taking pictures, the opposite race. They at the barbecue doing the electric slide. I've witnessed this. They had hoedowns. I've witnessed this. So your dad may feel how he feels, but if you actually love the person, you really want to be with them, you'll be surprised how, if that relationship is working out and y'all build it, you'll be surprised how quickly people will change. Most people think they're racist, but really they just have an idea of what somebody from another race really is in their head. They don't know anybody on a deep enough level to really say that they hate everybody of that race. Whatever your dad feels about black people doesn't really apply to the dude you're talking about. That's something that he feels based on people that, some of them that he knows and some stuff he saw on TV, some things he just heard. But, you know, you can't really hate someone you don't know. So I think if you like this dude, you want to be with this dude, you say he's amazing, build your relationship, your parents need to fall in line with your program. All right. Excuse me. All right, it's your man Chazz Ellis. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share whatever videos I got out with somebody else. Also go to ChazzEllis.com. Make sure you get my premium content. I talk in depth about these different issues that we touched on here today. Also, you can get profile reviews too for some of y'all who do have dating profiles, who do have social media profiles. You may need a little extra help. It's your man Chazz Ellis. Peace.